So here's a question for you, and I want you to drop your answer in the comments. Is your athlete doing absolutely everything they could do? Are they doing 1% more today than they were yesterday? And are they committed to doing 1% more tomorrow than they did today? And then the next day, and then the next day. So that's a yes or no. Or if you just want to drop in the comments 1%, give a thumbs up that you're going to do it, or a fire emoji, something to get some interaction that you're saying a commitment that you're going to do it. You're going to push and encourage your athlete to do it. And those athletes that are listening, because your moms and dads or coaches have said, hey, you need to listen to this guy. If you want to get to that next level, you want to excel, you want to get what you want that ice time, you want those leadership roles, you need to pay attention. And of course, on the other side, I have people ask all the time, man, 1%, does that really, really make a difference? Just 1% more? Well, here's the thing I got, and I wrote it down to make sure I quoted it properly. But this is from Jeff Olson's book called The Slight Edge. And it talks about, he calls it the eighth generation of the world, eighth wonder of the world. And that is the power of compound interest. So he talks about how you take a penny and you double it every day. Now, the story in the book, he talks about how these two brothers, their father was near the end of his life and he was passing away, and he gave them a choice. And the choice was they could take $1 million right up front, or they could take a penny and it would compound every single day for 31 days. What choice would you take? Well, one brother takes the $1 million and then the other brother chooses the penny. So this is the power of that 1% I'm talking about. So it starts off, day 1 penny, day 2 pennies, and then you double that, it's 4, then it's 8, then it's 16, 32, 64, as it continues to compound. Now, at the end of one full week, you only got 64 cents. So you think, oh my gosh, that doesn't amount to anything. So it's equivalent of putting forth that 1% every single day, maybe 1% more in the gym, or for some athletes, actually going to the gym, getting up, running or skating or stick handling, something, or reading a book, motivation. Because once again, the mental garden here, what you put in is what grows. So you got to make sure you're planting the right seeds, working on all three areas, the mental, spiritual, and physical. So after 10 days, you've only got $5.12. After 15 days, nearly halfway through, it's $163.84 of that penny compounding. And unfortunately, at the 15-day mark, when athletes aren't seeing a big difference, that's when a lot of them give it up. They're just like, yeah, you know what? That 1% isn't working. That little extra, I'm just going to go back in and blend in, and oh, well, I'm not really getting what I want, but I'm not putting forth the extra effort, so whatever. This is where I encourage you to keep going. Because as I talked about in the opening, it's not what they do every once in a while that counts or that matters or makes a difference. It's what they do consistently. Now, you as a coach and as a parent, same thing. It's what we do consistently to improve ourselves. We got to lead by example here. So I talk about all these things as a reminder to myself, need to hear myself, to do the things that I'm asking and encouraging you to do with your athletes. That means working out, eating properly, reading inspirational, motivational quotes to plant the right seeds in my mental garden, spiritually, believing, praying, doing the right things there to be the very best person I can be, to be the best coach I can be, to be the best parent and husband I can be the best speaker I can be, do the best podcast. That's kind of my little prayer. God, please help me be the very best I can be, because I'm a human too. I'm flawed in seems like every imaginable way at certain times, but constantly fighting and battling. But you got to stay at it. So at the 15-day mark, halfway through the month, is $163.84. Here's where the compound really starts kicking in. The 20-day mark, just 5 days more, we're at $5,242.88. 25 days, now we're at $167,772.16. So it starts adding up, but you think, man, that's 25 days in. Holy cow, I've been doing this almost a month, and I'm seeing some, but I'm not really seeing these gigantic gains. And some might be thinking, I would have been better off to take that $1 million. Well, here's where it really starts happening. Day 28 kicks in hard. Day 28, we have now passed the $1 million mark. In 28, to be exact. Day 29, that doubles. Day 30, that doubles. So at day 30, we're $5,368,709.12. So you've doubled, 5 times the amount of the original $1 million. Now, you may say, how does this work with what you're talking about working hard on and off the ice, about reading, about the spirituality, about doing all these other little things. Well, the compound effect doesn't matter if it's money, if it's a penny, or push-ups. Maybe your athlete has a hard time doing 5 push-ups. Well, they stay at it. And all they do every day, add one more. So now it's 6 push-ups, and then 7 push-ups, and then 8, and then 10. And if they really feel inspired, double that every single day. Compound it. Holy smokes. My whole point is that 1% makes a huge, huge difference. And then that one more rep mentality. And the little things like, this is a no-brainer, but I'm going to say it. When the coach isn't looking, that's when they're watching the most. So your athlete can't be coasting when the coach has their back turned. They can't be coming up short of the line when they're supposed to skate all the way to the line. And by the way, it's through the line, not to the line. That's that little extra drive that's going to give those legs that extra conditioning, that extra endurance, that extra strength and stamina needed for third period or overtime. Needed late in the game, maybe killing off a penalty or battling to tie the game up or preserve the lead. That little extra. All right, so here's the rest of it. So at day 30, like I mentioned, we're at $5 million. You double that again, and on day 31, $10,737,418.24 to be exact. It doubles every day, but you gotta be committed to staying committed, doing the things that others aren't willing to do.